Your mic is not working. Okay, so Sarah, you're so close to my house, Jen, but actually kills. Okay, cool, cool. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the first tasting of first live tasting, I should say. First, it's a fourth tasting of Beauj Box 2026, but first live Zoom tasting of Beauj Box 2026. I think every single one of you on this call right now, maybe with an exception of the Fuentes sisters and maybe Sarah Thurman, every single one of you, I think, has been in every part of every single Beauj box, which is awesome. So this is a sixth one that we're doing, which is awesome. Uh, it still managed to find some new producers, still managed to find some delicious beaujolais. So it's always a fun time. But yeah, welcome. You guys know the drill, but we're doing this on Friday. So drink a little more than you normally do, make some bad decisions. It will make the call go a little more fun. But yeah, so let's get into it. Um, by the way, just out of curiosity, how many of you have you guys been actually been following the Beauj box? Like, have you drank the first three and is this your fourth one? Or are you
This will
guys,
be our first.
if you're first, second,
I'm
okay,
I'm
second,
on the Beaujolais Viage, but it's still in my fridge. I started
okay,
it last night. I do like tend to do them in order other than the live tastings. I feel like
yeah,
strongly about that.
yeah,
But no, I'm
okay.
behind. It's hard to keep
And
up.
Kelly, that Santa Moore that you have held up is not the bottle we're tasting today, just so you know. You know that, right? Okay, okay. That was last week's. So.
It's
Okay.
our backup bottle.
Of course, of course. Uh, Excellent. Well, let's get into it then.
Leah did three. She's the lady with the babies. That's the most she's done.
Love it, love it.
Well, I am on maternity leave, so I can, as long as I can stay up with the baby, we're fine. So I got lots of time.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Leah, so this is the bottle that was returned back to me from you. I don't know if you can see all this wine stain on the label.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So the Beauj box I sent to Leah. Leah lives in San Antonio. Got returned back to me. I got a call notice from FedEx saying your package was damaged. We're sending it back to the shipper. And I guess they broke a bottle along during the shipment. And instead of sending 11 bottles to Leah, and so I can just send her one single bottle, they decided to return the whole thing. Not only did they decide to return the whole thing, they decided to put everything in a fucking trash bag and threw it in an uninsulated box and then shipped it back. So of course everything fucking broke. By the time it showed up, I think I had like 7 bottles left in the of the case. And they were all, and because it's uninsulated, it was during the cold storm, so all the bottles froze. There's like a freeze damage that was there. Uh, so labels are all fucked up, and like all the corks are like halfway popping off. But I tasted it earlier, and then it tasted fine. So here we are. We're saving the bottle that was returned back to me from there. Anyways, so we're tasting 2023 Chateau Moulin Favre La Centenaire Julienas is what we're tasting today. This little thing with a little vine growing in the middle of it. All right, let's look at the map. Oh, wait. All right. I trust that most of you have seen this map many, many times by now. Most of you are veterans of this club. Um, but, and also if you've been tuning in and watching the recordings, you all know where Beaujolais is, but this is where we are right here, this little light pink area. So Paris is up here. Not too far from Paris, but yeah, it's just right here is where we are. It's a southern tip of Burgundy. Just north of Lyon is where we are. And this is where Beaujolais, we're spending 12 weeks. If you look at more closely, this is kind of how it divides out. I know this is a very rudimentary elementary map, but we did this is a classic Beauj box we did like the very first year, right? Like the first two, I sometimes switch in and out. It's not always a Beaujolais and Beaujolais Village. Sometimes I swap it out with something a little bit different. Like last year, we did that Dieu Accomplice, the Pinot Noir Gamay blend that was from Côte de Bourguignon, not necessarily from Beaujolais, just outside. But this year, we're back to the classic original Beauj box, which is the makeup of Beaujolais, Beaujolais Village, and 10 crus. So we did Beaujolais, which is this southern part, and this kind of eastern alluvial soil, much closer to the river. So there's a lot more alluvial soil running on the eastern part of the cru. And then with the Beaujolais Village, which is this kind of like purple part, which is the second week. And if you remember, Beaujolais kind of roughly divided into northern half, southern half. Southern half is basically where the basic regional appellation, as well as most basic kind of most entry point. Of course, there are outliers. There are, of course, people who make some excellent wines here in Beaujolais as well. But in general, this is where more of the commodity or more bulk wines come from. And then you get into the granitic soil that comes up here. Soil is really what makes a huge difference here. As you go to Beaujolais, it's a lot more sandy, a lot more clay, not a whole lot of granite. This is where what the French call pierre dorée, yellow stone in direct translation, is kind of what the soil type you see down in Beaujolais. And then as you come up in the northern half, this is where you see the granitic influence start to come in. And, you know, as you all know, because you've been through many Beauj boxes by this point, granite and gamay is essentially what we're studying here in Beaujolais. So we did Beaujolais Village the second week, and then we did Centenaire the third week, and then now we're in this green part right here called Julienas. So if you look a little bit, and this is the soil map that you all kind of have an access to. So this red is essentially that this is just the northern half, right, going down to Bruy and Côte de Bruy down here. But as you can see, look at all this red. This red is essentially granite. So give you an idea of how much granite plays a role in Beaujolais, cru Beaujolais particularly. So this is what we're talking about. But where we are, if you look, Julienas is up here. So both the last week's wine, Centenaire, as well as Julienas, the soil type is noticeably different, right? It's a lot more green, it's not red. And there's another place where this green pops up a lot, which is right here in the part of Morgon. This is Côte de Pie. We've had a few Côte de Pie bottlings, which is a volcanic mountain that shoots up in the middle of Morgon, one of the most sought after kind of plot within Morgon. And then another place is Côte de Bruy, right? So you see this green in Côte de Bruy, Côte de Pie region of Morgon, and then right here in Julien. There, obviously, you see some of it in Centenaire as well. So this is a little bit different. So the rest of here, Fleury-Chou, the rest of Morgon, rest of Beaujolais is that granite, but these green one is basically volcanic schist. So you're talking about a lot more volcanic soil. You're talking about schist, which are these kind of like rock sandwiches, if you can imagine. They're like think of it as like a rock croissant. I know I've used that analogy before because they're like very layered. They flake off very easily. And another thing that's cool about schist, or depends on where you are, but wherever there's a schist falls onto heat quite a bit. The heat absorption, heat retention is quite high with the schist. So a lot of times, whenever there's a schist, you're going to see a lot more ripeness in the fruit because a lot of heat kind of bounces off the schist in the soil. And then there's quite a bit of clay here as well. And then that holding the water retention of the clay and everything, the vines here in Julienas in general tends to be much darker, blacker than say Centenaire, and then some other parts. It depends on where you are, obviously. But in general, these kind of really red, berry-driven, poppy, bright Beaujolais that we know of, you're not going to get that in Julienas. Oftentimes, Julienas are going to be a lot more chiseled, a lot more structured. The fruit character is going to be much darker and blacker. Not necessarily saying one is better than the other, but that's kind of what you're going to get. And obviously, amount of carbonic maceration, what kind of carbonic maceration you put on it is going to matter. And we're going to talk about this wine a little bit later as well, but this is a destemmed carbonic maceration. So we'll talk about what that means in terms of stylistically. but just know in general, Julienas, you're gonna get darker and blacker profile or style of Beaujolais, not the bright red berry-driven Beaujolais. So it all depends on what your preference is. If you're looking for something like that, I would recommend you stick with like Centenaire, Fleury. Of course, you know, it all depends on where you are. Chateau is one of them as well. That's a lot more red fruit driven, oftentimes in general. But yeah, if you like the little bit of darker, blacker, burlier kind of a Beaujolais, then Julien is definitely good. One of the good ones. Let's see. Wait, hold on. Wait, what? What's happening? Oh, sorry. 1 second. 1 second. Sorry, that's I shared the wrong one. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So, and then this is if you look even closely, you all have an access to this, by the way. If you go to the Google Drive, all this in there. So you're looking at even closer. So I mean, we are doing, you know, we think we're geeking out, right? Really doing a deep dive with the 10 crews and going deep. But even within each crew, I mean, just look at how many different ludites and different plots are available. So if you really want to get geeky with it, then you can go and let's say like taste wine from here, Le Belin, and then you know compare that to here, Le Cher, you know, just to see what the expression is different, and you can really break it down that further down. I mean, wine has been grown here. The vines have been grown here for a long, long time, and particularly Burgundy, kind of arguably Burgundy and Bordeaux as well, but particularly Burgundy is kind of like the birthplace of this idea of this terroir and really dissecting different plots and vineyards and grouping them according to the soil type and different expression. So all of that kind of carries on through Beaujolais as well. So yeah, you can really go in and check out all the different things as well. Julienas in general, I feel like it's kind of a bit of a sleeper. I feel like so this is, by the way, this is what Julienas kind of looks like. This is actually town of Julienas right here. It's a bit of a sleeper. People don't really pay much attention, even within the Beaujolais circle, Cru Beaujolais circle. People don't really mention Julienas all that much. I particularly like Julienas. I like that volcanic expression. Like Côte de Brie is another good one. Like I said, Morgon Côte de Pie. These are all the kind of Beaujolais I really like. So Julienas, I like Julienas, but most people don't talk about it. But the trace structure here is a lot like Centenaire, where a lot of these kind of big negociants and co-op houses that basically essentially go and buy up all the grapes. They're the big commercial wineries essentially. They're the one who kind of rule the wine scene here. So kind of like Centenaire, you kind of have to do your homework and then figure out which producer is doing it correctly to really get right wines. But yeah, but once you do find it, Julienas often makes really nice because again, all that ripeness and then all that minerality and then the rock, the schist in the soil, it can produce really like layered, complex structure, meaning a lot of tannin, so it can be age worthy. So I highly recommend that you check out Juliana. Don't sleep on it and drink up. But also the name Julienas, I'm sure you've heard this many times, me saying this on Beauj boxes, but the name Julienas goes back to the Roman era. Apparently, this is the plot. The vineyards here were famed back then, were farmed back then in the Roman era to produce wine for Julius Caesar, hence the name Julienas. So just to give you an idea of how much people Romans saw potential of this site for wine. Let's see, let's talk about who makes this wine. So this is a husband and a wife couple. So Chateau Moulin Favre is the name of I'm sure I'm butchering that last pronunciation of Favre. Yeah, so this is a husband and wife team behind the family estate. It's a 17-hectare family-owned estate representing 6 generations of Vernus family, Vernus. So this is Armand Vernus, and then this is Celine Vernus. So Armand is the sixth generation that's moving on, and then Celine married Armand and married to the winemaking family, and that's what they're making now. So they make six of the 10 crews. So their actually family estate is actually in Beaujolais. So it's in the southern Beaujolais, but they also make wines in 6 different crews, and Julienas being one of them. They also make Beaujolais Blanc as well as a sparkling wine. So they make quite a bit of different style as well as they make wine in quite a different places. Celine graduated from university in Lyon with a degree in foreign languages. I don't exactly know what that means. You know, I feel like in the States you either, you know, get a degree in one particular language. So, but everything I looked up and tried to study her background, it just said she got a degree in foreign languages. But anyways, so she started teaching foreign language in a high school afterwards. Then she met Armand, the winemaker, and then married into the family. And then now she's full on involved. Every picture I've seen online, and then even on their website, everything, she's actually involved in actually making wine in the cellar. But I got this little quote from here, basically saying, this is a direct quote from one of the articles that I pulled. It said, as soon as I started working in the vineyard with him, I put away my books. I rediscovered my childhood dreams. And when I imagined myself as a farmer, like an artisan of the earth, we feel in harmony with nature. And what could be more rewarding than working the soil and the vines, is what she said. So she's pretty much let go of her foreign language career. And then now she makes wine with her husband, Armand. And Armand grew up in the family. Family's been making wine there for 6 generations, like I mentioned. So, and he carries on the tradition here now. I really couldn't find much more information beyond that. I really had to find some more wine training background for Armand. I don't know if he just learned everything from his family, but I really couldn't find anything. So sorry, but that's all I have with the producer. So what is this wine? This is 100% Gamay. This is 100-year-old vines from 3 parcels totaling about 1.2 hectares, grown on granite and schist soil, hand harvested, all destemmed, and that's the thing that makes their wine style quite unique. So all the wines, and this is going to be really fun for us to taste, because the first 2 wines, the first and the second week, was carbonic, but whole bunch, right? There's no destemming that happened. Last week, however, was partially destemmed. So there were some stems and then there's some. And then now this week, we're doing 100% destemmed. So we're going to talk about, once we get to tasting it, we're going to talk about what that means for the style of the wine. So everything that they make is 100% destemmed. Carbonic maceration, 21 days vatting in temperature controlled stainless steel. So instead of cement, which is normally what you would find in this in Beaujolais, they're doing it in stainless steel. And then it does get 6 months aging in a 3-year-old wooden barrels. So not new barrels, but not super old. And they're not in fougere, but they're in smaller barrels. So when for our purpose of geeking out on Beaujolais and the winemaking style, so these are the things we're going to look for when we're tasting it, which is 1 is destemmed, 100% destemmed. And then 2, it is 21-day vatting, meaning it spent 21 days on the skins, which is a little bit longer than usual. And then the 6 months aging in 3-year-old wooden barrels, smaller barrels, that was a big fougere. And then also newer, 3 years, newer, not completely new, but newer than the rest. So what do these 3 things, how do these 3 things affect final style of the wine? We'll talk about that as we taste the wine. That's all I've got. Any questions about this wine or anything else about Julienas before we get into tasting it?
Yes, I do. Okay. There's only one place Julius Caesar got his wine.
No.
Okay.
It's from within this area, within Beaujolais, this particular plot where Julienas is, I think is
okay. Then I have a follow-up. Where are there other like Julius type name regions in other wine growing regions in Europe where the Roman Empire was?
I mean, I don't know about Julius Caesars, but there's a lot of things that are named after Roman, or there's Roman influence. Like Centenaire, for example, is named after a Roman soldier who who went there and then converted to Christianity to kind of escape the persecution, I guess, was happening. And then his name was Saint Amor, I think, or no, he wasn't Saint Amor. He's Amore was there, and then he ended up converting and became like this figure, big figure in the church there. So that's why the name takes after him. So things like that happens. I can't think of off the top of my head another place that's named after like a Roman empire, but I'm sure there is. If not a region, at least like a vineyards of sorts that they really liked. But yeah, sorry, doesn't come to me on the top of my head any Roman Empire inspired site names.
I'm just curious. It's
Yeah.
pretty at a bunch.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
It feels like 5 years into however many years I am into this, 6 years, oh God. Uh, it just feels like there's so many factors that go into winemaking. It's like the terroir and the when you pick them and the maceration and the varietal and the everything. Like, how do they, I don't think this is a question you can answer, but like, how do they decide? Like, let's destem this one. Do they just like have a sense, or do they like try? Like the part of me that is like, I would want to like try the same wine, like destemming and partly destemming and whole cluster.
Yeah.
Like, do they just sort of like see what happens and then the next year they try something different if it didn't taste good? I don't know. It just feels like it just there's too many elements to control, and I will never be
Totally.
a winemaker because I find it overwhelming just to think about.
Totally. I mean, I think there are multiple things at play here, and I think it depends on where you are. What I mean by that, like for example, let's think about the wines that we tasted from Chile, the southern Chile region we just had in the last month, this month's theme, right? The southern Chilean box that we just had. Very like the wines have been made the same way since 1500s when the first Spanish missionaries landed there, right? So there's certain tradition there. Like if you ever get a bottle of white from down there, it's gonna have skin contact down there because that's just the way they've been making it for 500 plus years. So it's like people don't even question it. It's more of it just the way it's been, and they're just keeping it that way. So tradition kind of goes on, right? As the things like destemming or whole cluster, it's just like so. For example, this is the kind of the influence of the Burgundy coming down here. So Beaujolais as a whole has always been kind of a whole cluster area, especially with carbonic maceration and all of that. Burgundy is where a lot of the destemming happened there. There are people that it kind of split in their thought. The Burgundy producers really split into these two schools. One is a whole stem school, and the other is destemming school. And that destemming school and their influence started making its way down into Beaujolais. So I'm willing to bet that the Vernon's family did not always destem their wines from the very beginning, because it would be very unlikely. It would be very unique and rare if they did it from the very beginning, because traditionally this area of Beaujolais has always been whole cluster. So somewhere along the way, I'm willing to bet some of the Vernon's family either went up to Burgundy to train, or they met or they drank some wines from Burgundy or some other place there where like the wine really resonated with them. They're like, what's happening here? Like, why is this so delicious? Why do I like it? Then they realized they were destemming and they're like, let's try it. And then they started making it that way. That would be my bet. And then, so a lot of it is kind of tradition, the way it's been doing. And then like now you see a like new bottle and something else that happened. And then, but in a places like New World, right? California, for example, I mean, that's like the Wild West, you know, like Australia. People are going there, making whatever they feel like making, and then just figuring out what clings to them. Because there's no pressure of tradition on them in a place like that. Does that make sense? So yes, there's a lot of different choices when it comes down to winemaking, but it's kind of like cooking, right? Like, why do you grill stuff versus bake it versus fry it versus poach it? You know, like how do you make that decision? You know, like it's kind of like
Except for I feel like that works better for me because like I can try roasting the potatoes tonight and then I can try baking them tomorrow. Or like, you know, like I mean, versus wine, it's like you got to do a thing and then you got to like wait a really long time and
yeah,
like see if it worked. But
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is that it's not like necessarily an active decision. It's not like the winemaker's like, which way of the stems will I do this time? It's like this is the way they do it, and then sometimes they're like, oh, let's try something different. But it's not like every winemaker doesn't sit down to make wine and think like, now I have to make a decision about stems. They just
Especially in old places like this,
yeah.
there's kind of this kind of template rigid model already, and then they may veer off a little bit, but like they kind of follow that. But I will also say though, I mean, this idea that the winemakers don't make any changes each year is also not true because they take each year's vintage and they see what's unique about that vintage. So like, for example, I can see if they harvested and that they realized this one vintage, the phenolic ripeness of the stems were so unripe, right? Like it was so green that they're like putting this on a whole cluster would be a disaster. It would just be like the wine would taste like, fresh cut grass and it would be so green that it would be delicious. They may decide to destem, they may decide to only put half. So some of that variation will be kind of adjustment to the each vintage. And honestly, that's kind of where the winemaker's skill comes in. And there's this saying in the wine world that the true test of a good winemaker is that they can make good wine even in very bad vintages, because they know how to work with that ingredient. They know what to do because they've been exposed to it enough. So yeah, while in general, oftentimes especially when you go to places like France where they've been making wine for a long time, they're just kind of general model of how the wine is made in that region. Like, Beaujolais is carbonic maceration in general. Traditional fermentation is carbonic maceration, whole cluster, cement, fougère. Like that's how it's made. But there may be little differences here and there depending on the vintage, depending on the person, personal style, and all that. It is a lot, like more and more I talk to winemakers, more and more I run into winemakers who compare winemaking to cooking a lot. They're like, it's a lot like cooking. Any other questions? Excellent. Let's taste the wine. Who wants to take the appearance? Come on, you guys are all veterans at this point. You guys all know
I
how to do it.
do.
All right, let's do this.
I just have terrible lighting. I can't do it. I can never take a parent. Sorry.
I,
Shit lighting.
I do too, Sarah, but I just use that as an excuse if I get anything wrong. Um, I I don't know if this is totally clear. It's very
Yeah, it's definitely not filtered. It's definitely not fine. It's definitely,
yeah.
yeah, it's not translucent in any way, for sure.
Yeah. Um, I feel like I want to call it deep, but I feel like you're gonna tell me I'm wrong.
No, I'm not
I also
moving.
don't
This
have
is
very much
pretty,
left in my glass, but it looks very dark to me.
yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's like I'll call this like medium plus. I mean, it's bordering on deep here. Like I can't really see through it at all. I mean, I don't have the best lighting in here, but like, yeah, I'm gonna call this at least medium plus, deep. Yeah, a lot more color than the first two Beaujolais that we had for sure. Um, and what would you call the color of this?
I would call it ruby, of course.
Is it just ruby?
Oh. Uh, that's supposed to be an easy one. Is it kind of purpley too?
Yeah, right. Do you get some purple? I see some purple. I see some
A little
blue.
bit of purple.
Yeah,
I can also compare it. I have the Beaujolais Viage here, so I'm going to
yeah,
compare the two of them. They look actually not that different. Yeah, we'll say that purpley ruby.
yeah. Ruby with a little bit of purple thrown in, little blue purplish thing tinge thrown in. Any other observations?
There are no bubbles or pétillants. We don't talk about legs in 6 Foot Wine Club or Beauj
That's
Bar.
right. That's right. That's right. Perfect. Good job. Good pick the next person for the nose.
Sarah, sorry.
No, it's great. I like the nose and the palate. I'm not shy. In fact, my sister and I said if it wasn't so obnoxious, we'd volunteer every time. It's so fun. Okay, let me see.
The nose.
Um, I feel like this is clean.
Yeah, this one is clean. This one is done.
Clean. Medium plus.
Yeah, I get mine like right around here.
Like an inch off.
Mine is like just like an inch. Yeah. So mine is coming on, yeah, bordering on medium plus, high medium, low medium plus, kind of where I'm at. So yeah, if it's like an inch off the glass, yeah, that's like exactly medium, high end of medium, low end of medium plus, kind of around there.
Yeah, and I had to run an errand, so it's like been open longer and not as chilled. So so I'm a little bit ahead.
Okay. Yeah, mine is like yeah, maybe like an inch off the rim. Not super fine. So yeah, let's say yeah, somewhere between medium plus. Intense aromas. Ooh, what do you got?
I do get a little bit of rose and violet, but that's not like the main thing.
Yeah, I get some violet here for sure.
Yeah. Like real soft rose petals, not like dried out ones. But this is all like black fruit to me.
Yeah, dark fruit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
like
something.
Maybe dark red cherry, but like mostly like black plum.
Yeah.
Blackberry.
Right. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of like if you guys can remember back, particularly the first one and the Beaujolais and Beaujolais Flat, the first and second week, like the fruit expression was much redder, much brighter, tartar here. And but like this is to me, this is the first one is like noticeably darker. Like this is majority dark fruit, black fruit. I don't even know if I get any red fruit, honestly. To tell the truth. Maybe some cherry, but like
yeah,
even then it's like a black cherry to me. But yeah. So yeah, totally with you. Like blackberry, black cherry, some plum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But none of I don't really get anything dried or cooked. Like it's pretty fresh, I think.
Yeah,
it's
fresh, but it's like
maybe
really,
a little bit of like Smucker's like grape jelly.
yeah,
Smucker's
agreed.
grape jelly kind of.
Yeah.
Really.
It's not baked, it's not cooked, but it's really ripe. Like it's super ripe, even like be jammed. Yeah, there's some like jammy, some really ripe, big kind of thing. And this is typical Julienas, like black fruit, bigger, riper. Again, that clay, all that heat retention on the schist, it's kind of like where you're gonna find. Herbaceous, herbal?
No.
Neither. I'm
No,
a lot of like,
but maybe a little bit of like eucalyptus or mint.
there's a little bit of like a minty mentholy thing, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of like something like savory here. But in general, like I don't know, I get such ton of that fruit here. Like there's so much fruit in this thing.
Yeah. That's like the A storyline. Everything else is like C plots.
Yeah. But yeah. Not that, again, power suggestion, maybe like you're throwing that, like you cook this thing here. I definitely do get a little bit like a mentally kind of a thing. Any spice, any minerality, stoniness?
Okay, maybe some white pepper, which I've only had once in my life, but like maybe a little bit.
Okay.
And then some minerality, I think.
Yeah, I do get some like a minerality like rock in here.
Yeah, like little wet rock. Yeah.
Yeah, I get some like wet rocks, exactly. Some crushed rock, wet rock, some sort of like rocky thing. Like there's actually quite a bit of it in here, which is cool. Yeah, like a little pepper. And then any secondary?
No.
So this is where I get really, again, maybe knowing, again, power suggestions and knowing and power of association here. But I get a little bit of like just a touch. I'm not saying like this is like fully oak or anything, but I do see little influence of oak here, like maybe ever so slight layers of like coriander, nutmeg, things like that.
You know what? It kind of,
A
you
little
know
bit.
what? If it was like a woody smell, it kind of smells like, okay, I'm gonna pronounce it wrong, but like my Lavo soap is this smell like hinokai, like that wood smell.
Okay.
Hinoki. It's like a type
Mhm.
of like, it's like a kind of like a light wood.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? It's in like perfume and soap sometimes now.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
It's
I
great.
believe
You gotta come wash your hands at my place, man. It's very expensive.
you.
It smells so good.
I mean, I'll tell you as a wine trainer, I'm gonna go there to like wash my hands at your place. If you're like, what are you doing? I'm going to Sarah's place to wash my hands.
Yeah, it's real nice soap.
Yeah.
Um, it smells like
Me-
that.
yeah, I do get some of that. Like there's some.
Because it's not quite oak. It's like a light wood.
Yeah, it's not oak. I mean, again, this is a 3-year wood. I'm not saying this is in a new barrel, but there's a touch of like wood influence that I do smell in here.
Yeah.
Which I'm describing as a slight low levels of nutmeg and coriander and things like that, some sort of spices. But
Yeah.
but
Okay, I looked it up. It's a cypress tree. It's a Japanese cypress tree.
got it. Okay. Do you get any tertiary?
Will you scoot it up a little bit? Everybody's faces is covering the
This
bottom
is
of the cherry.
as high as it goes.
Oh wait, let me move. Let me just move people. Hold on, sorry. Um, I mean, I feel like all the fruits are so fresh. I
Yeah.
don't really get. Do I get fig or prune? Like maybe a little fig Newtony kind of.
Yeah, I can see that, like a fig Newton, but that's to me, that's like that jammy session, not
Yeah,
necessarily like dried, maybe like cooked.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no tertiary. I mean, this is still young, it's 23, right?
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, no tertiary for me. I do get like a little touch of this influence, this oak influence here, but mostly right here. A little bit of floral, a lot of black fruit, whole lot of black fruit, really fresh, ripe, maybe touch of jam. Um, the touch of like that, like the little eucalyptus or touch of like mentally kind of herbaceousness. I don't get a whole lot of pepper. You get a little peppery thing. Maybe that's
Well, I said white pepper, which may not smell like what
yeah,
it smells because I've only had it once. I might
yeah.
be.
Maybe what you're
Yeah.
describing as white peppers is what I'm describing as oak here. Maybe we may be
Yeah.
talking about the same thing, but definitely you
Mhm.
and I both get some stones here, like a little bit of stone and things like that. But yeah, it's a little dusty, but cool. You get to pick the next person for the palette.
Okay. Charles Collins Chase, nice to see you.
Can I just say before we move on that I have such a strong scent from mine, and I was like trying to figure out what it is, and it's like it to me it smells very unusual and very strong, which usually I'm like it's medium minus, and you're like it is profoundly, the nose is profound or whatever it's like pronounced or
Uh-huh.
whatever. So I don't know why it's like very strong for me. And I was trying to figure out what the smell was, and I finally placed it, and it was I once went to my Canadian grandma's house and she had a really, really, really old Easy Bake oven, and I opened like the mix for the Easy Bake oven, and it had like almost like a plasticky smell, like the mix. And I like tried to
Okay.
bake the brownies and like they didn't quite bake because it was honestly probably like 30-year-old brownie mix. Um, and it had this like weird fruity, plasticky smell. And that is the smell. I don't know if it's a reference to anyone else, but that is a smell I get very strongly from this wine. And it tastes fine to me. Like it doesn't taste like the wine has gone bad. But I was like
Mhm.
listening to you talk, and I'm like, What about the plasticky smell?" And maybe it's just me that's getting that.
But
Hmm.
also, like I said, I opened mine at like like a little bit before 7. Mine will open a little longer, so maybe that's like maybe we
Okay.
just missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, is there anybody else getting plastic, artificial,
Expired Easy Bake Oven mix?
expired
That I'm not
brownie
familiar
mix?
with.
No, just me.
I get a little bit, no, but I get a little bit of like, if you ever put a penny in your mouth,
Yes. I sit
Okay,
around the
so
same
like a
age,
coppery
actually.
metally, yeah.
there's like a coppery,
Hmm.
like it's
Okay.
not metallic tasting, but there is like a, I don't know, coppery note for me on the nose.
Okay. Okay.
I've never called that. I've never called metal before, so maybe we're having an off day.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm not sure where that's coming from or what that could be. I'm not getting much of that, honestly, in mine. I just get so much of just like a plump white, like black fruit here. And also like what is that what British people call pastil? The like the hard candy, hard fruit candy that they eat. There's some of that in here as well, like a blackberry, bramble, like a hard candy. But yeah. All right, Charles, take the paddle for us.
Wine is dry. Medium plus acidity.
Yes, good acid.
Go medium tannin, almost bordering on medium plus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the line. They're delicate, soft tannins. It's nothing rough, but between medium and medium plus.
100%. So that's another thing. There's some real grip on this thing. This is Julienas coming in. That extended skin contact. 22 days, destemmed, all of that is like what's coming in here. This is the most tannic Beaujolais bottle that we've had so far this year, but this is noticeably more tannic than any of the first three that we had.
It's interesting that for skin tannins, it's pretty. I mean, I guess extended contact is pretty substantial. It's not. They're so delicate. It's not wood tannin, but it's there for sure.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I'm like almost there calling it medium plus. It's quite a bit of tannin here.
Yeah, it's funny. I'd probably still call this Beaujolais, but like the fruit is lower tone and the tannin is higher. I could see people being pretty perplexed by this.
Yeah.
Alcohol. I'll go with 13. I don't have the bottle, but go with 13.
What? This says alcohol is 15% by volume.
So I thought it was a little high, but I was like, that seems ridiculous. It drinks a little hot. Mine's room temperature. I opened it at 9:05. So nothing has been done to put this wine in condition for drinking, but it drinks a little. That doesn't completely surprise me, but it's pretty.
It does drink hot. It does feel a little hot to me, but 15.
15 is really high.
Yeah, 15 for Beaujolais is also crazy.
Well, I almost went 13.5, but it's. I don't know. People just make shit up for alcohol, so.
Usually there's about 1% leeway either direction with these things, so. But still, wow. I'll confirm, see if I can get confirmation that is actually accurate, or maybe just something they put on there for I don't know, tariff purpose.
But I go medium. I go medium plus on body.
Yeah, it's got some weight.
It's got. I don't know. For me, this has a lot of body. I don't know if it's medium plus or full body, but for me, this is an ample amount of body for my taste.
Yeah, I'm gonna call this this is like the tannin call for me. This is like we're splitting right in between, like bordering on medium plus medium. So
yeah,
I can see that other direction. Moose, we're gonna have to talk about flavor intensity.
I give this a solid medium plus flavor intensity.
Yep. Agreed.
Mostly primary, mostly red and black fruit. So I confirm.
Do you get red fruit on this? To me, this is like all black.
There's black fruit, but there's always red fruit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think red fruit is just the lighter side of black fruit. But yeah, I confirm the calls on the nose.
Yeah, definitely get that violet for me. Purple flower, blue flower all over. Dominant black fruit here. I mean, black cherry, black plum, blackberry, all that.
There is a stoniness at the end. There's some minerality at the end for sure.
There's some minerality, stoniness, a little bit of herbaceousness. I'm
not getting the eucalyptusy thing. I got that on the nose, but I'm not getting that on the palate. That's the only difference, I guess.
Yeah, like I to me, that eucalyptus, the herbal thing is really, I think what I was going back to is that oak thing. It's like that layer of touch of like coriander, touch of nutmeg, that kind of like a spice.
One other thing on the nose, I feel like I got a little bit of like a graphite-y pencil lead type of situation. I'm not particularly getting that on the palate either. It's, there's minerally stuff in there, but I feel like it was notable on the nose and not on the palate.
Got it. One thing I will say on the palate here is I don't know if you guys are getting this, but I'm getting some phenolic bitterness here on this wine. I mean, especially with like the medium plus 10 here that we're calling, it was not too surprising that we're getting a little bit of bitterness here. But I get, it's not a lot. It's not like super bitter, but there's a bit of a, like right at the end, there's a little bit of a bitter finish on this thing.
I'm not getting that too much. On the finish for me, I'm getting more of like the estery, high tone fruit that is like, I don't know. It's like I get a feeling in my mouth that's a little bit more of like a lower body ester, high tone fruit thing. It's almost like the wine sort of like washes away, and what's left is like a lighter type of thing that kind of mixes with the tannins. But I'm not getting any phenolic bitterness.
Yeah. Okay.
You probably made the error of opening your wine in a timely fashion and having it below 72 degrees.
Is anybody else getting some bitterness on their wine? Maybe it's just my bottle. Yeah, the structure on this thing is really popping out on my wine. Maybe, I don't know if this wine was clearly frozen at some point on its way back. Maybe it's bringing it out, but I get that tannic kind of bitterness, phenolic coming in quite a bit. I'm actually feeling the alcohol quite a bit here now. I still don't think it's 15%, but yeah, I feel that it's a little hot. It's quite hot for sure. Okay, cool. Finally, the length. How long has it been?
Kind of out of wine, but
Wine is deep. It's inky.
you give it medium plus finish. Yeah, it is inky.
Yeah. So this is another thing that I was going to go back to. So the whole point of carbonic maceration, I mean, this also put on carbonic, meaning it was destemmed, but the berries weren't crushed. They were just kind of layered there. Obviously, the bottom berries will get crushed. So the top berries that went through carbonic. But because this was destemmed, this inkiness is the sign of destemming. There's a lot of like so much fruit that's coming out here, as well as this inky deepness of this wine that we're feeling versus the three wines that we've had so far, is noticeably inkier and just kind of more extract. And that's all because of destemming. For Kelly, Julia, and Nalima, the Santa Moore that you just opened there, that's partial destemming. So like if you compare this and this one side by side, you will see what I mean by like the inkiness, the extract. Like this should feel like there's so much of actual like a if you ever chewed on like grape skins, like all that kind of like the tannin and all the things that come out at the end, like this wine has so much more of that versus last week's wine, the Centenaire. And then if you had the wines from the first 2 weeks, is even less of that when you move there, and that's all because of destemming. Also, this is something that the grid never mentions, but mouthfeel, the texture of the wine. There's a lot more roundness to this wine than there was in the first two. And that's the function of that barrel aging. The smaller barrel aging, it just rounds out the wine. It's not as angular. I mean, the higher alcohol definitely plays a role because the glycol level goes up and the wine just feels a little bit rounder when the alcohol goes up. But having gone through the barrel and the wood influence is what basically rounds out this wine. It feels silkier, it feels rounder, much more plush rather than some of the first two wines. Like that Beaujolais Village, if you guys remember, the Baudillard was so bright and just like kind of like it's like popping off, like it's like it felt jumpy to me. This one is much more like seated and stated and like just deep and round and things like that. So the vibe is very different, and then a lot of that is because of the not only the destemming and the high alcohol, but also the barrel treatment. All right, you call finish length medium plus?
I did.
Yeah, agreed. All right, bring it home for us. How good is this wine? Justified? Would you age it?
So I think I was like just joining when we did some of this stuff, but I think we called between medium and medium plus on nose. We called mostly red fruit. We had some floral and some minerality and a little bit of herbaceousness. So like a fairly complex wine. On the palate, same, mostly kind of tending towards mid plus. So I'd call this a very good wine. I would actually say, compared to most of the wines we drink, I would think this would be very interesting to age. I think this would sort of actually go the distance, and you could go like you could age, definitely 5 years on this. I think you could probably get this to go 7, 8 years, 10 years. Like you could actually really see where this goes. I think it would get better. I don't know that it would be better at 10 years than at 5 years, but I think somewhere between 5 and 10 years, it would probably be really, really interesting. Get some sort of tertiary characteristics that would be okay. And with the tannin and the acid, you would be completely safe, unless they have like bad cellar practices, and then you'd just be fucked. But other than that, I think you'd probably get a really, really amazing wine at like 6 years, 8 years, something in that ballpark. So I doubt I'll own any of this wine for that long, but if anybody does, I think it'll probably be pretty good.
I fully agree. Yes, I'll call this very good myself. Balanced. Well, I don't know. This alcohol does seem to pop off quite a bit to me right now. That's the only thing that's really captured me. Every time I take a sip, I'm like, ooh, it's hot. But it's not to a point where it is interfering with me experiencing other things. So it's a reserved but cautious balanced is what I would say. Cautiously balanced, but it's balanced. I think this nothing is too out of the place. Medium plus intensity, medium to medium plus on the nose, medium plus on the palate. So medium plus, medium complexity, medium plus length, all across the board. We got 2 medium pluses and 1 medium. Leaning more towards very good, medium pluses. So I'm gonna go very good as well. To everything Charles said, I agree dead on. There's a tannin here. We call it medium plus, right? Like it's got a ton of tannin, good acid, medium plus acid, really solid backbone. On top of that, we got the all that freshness. Like this wine, like what's making this wine delicious is not the freshness, right? Like unlike some of the wines that we had before, which were like it was the white, it was crunchy and the fruit was so fresh and popping off, bright, and to me, this wine doesn't have that already. This wine is deep, inky, and it's about staying there. So for me, Only thing that we were lacking, not in solid and medium plus, was with the complexity. We call it medium the complexity. So as this wine ages, it's going to add more complexity. Yes, it may lose some of the primary, but it wasn't about the fresh primary anyway to begin with this wine. So it's only going to make more complex, add more layers, which make this wine better and more delicious and more interesting, in my opinion. As far as the length of aging, agreed. Like 8 years was about what I was going to call it. Like I do think this wine will be just fine going up to like 10, probably 8 to 10 is what I was going to call. I would say if you like the wine and you want to see how it changes, I would say get like, I don't know, 4 to 6 bottles, check back in on year 5, and then drink one at year 7, 8, and then 10 if you like the where it's going. But I agree with Charles' call. I think like the year 8 is around what I think is going to hit the prime with this wine.
What happens to the viscosity, the body of the wine?
I mean, depending on the length of aging, within 5 to 10, probably not a whole lot. But if you're to age it for like decades, it does get a little bit thicker because you're going to lose some of that volume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I wouldn't want more body and roundness on this wine. So like,
Yeah.
I think it'd be good. So I did this once. There was one time that I bought a bunch of beaujolais and I left it around for a while, and it did get pretty great. But I haven't done that again. Yeah. It was a great experience. So then, ever since then, I just drank all the wine. I couldn't replicate it.
Cool. Good job, everyone. Any questions?
Is this like a Julienas unicorn?
What do you mean?
Like this is sort of I don't know, it's a pretty big, intense wine. I feel like it's like I think of Julienas as maybe a little bit more, it's not like Fleury, but it's like a little bit more on the less substantial. Like this seems a little substantial.
It can. So Julienas we've had in the past has never been this inky, but in general, Julienas tends to be a little bit darker, a little bit more tannic, but not at this level. And I think these guys, their style is just so much more. Again, I think a lot of it is honestly the destem is where all this comes from. So they destem all of their stuff. They make 6 out of 10 crews, and they destem all of them. So it's kind of their style, and a lot of it is this. So again, if you like this style of wine, then there's something that that's interesting to ask, right? Like, this is what happens when you don't put wine through a whole cluster, and it gets inkier and darker and so much more fruit, like a very intense amount of fruit here. Is that your preferred style, or do you like the Beaujolais carbonic whole cluster that is more poppy, bright, and kind of jumps off your palate and crunchy, and it's going to be interesting because as this year, Morgon and Côte de Brie are Burgundian, meaning there's no carbonic on it, and it's going to be, I think one of them is destem and one of them is whole cluster. So that's another thing that we can look out for when we get there to kind of compare. But for at least for this week's purpose, those are the 3 things I really kind of wanted to highlight. So one was destemming, like what does destemming do to the wine? So as you can see, it gets like inkier, darker, just so much more extract, right? Because the wine just spends more time on the skins. Doesn't have time to like just flow down through the little whole bunch of grapes and then that ends at the end. Way less kind of savory, spicy, that whole cluster that you get just more just pure fruit, right? And then the barrel influence, that's what we talked about, right? Which is, it rounds out the wine. It feels silkier. This round feels much rounder and plusher than the wines that we've had so far. And then, what was the third thing? What did I say at the very beginning? My mind is blanking right now. destem, barrels. Oh, and then longer extraction. So this spent 26 days. Most wines spend anywhere between like 16 to 22 days, somewhere around there. So spend like additional, basically 6 days a week. And the other ones that we've had, so additional maceration time. Again, that goes with extracting more, just getting inkier and more of that. So hopefully this, it would be much better if we could isolate each one of those elements separately to really taste it side by side. But wine world doesn't work like that, so we just kind of have to see what each of these kind of things do. But I think you all agree that, to me at least, this wine is noticeably different from the first three that we've had so far in this box. And a lot of it is because that production method does that as well. Cool. Any questions? Any other comments? Disagreements? Excellent. Let's play your favorite. Well, first of all, did you guys like this one, by the way? Yeah. Did anybody not like this one? Like actively dislike this one?
I didn't dislike it, but I think that's whatever I'm smelling is throwing me off. Hi, Kevin. And I liked last year's Julienas better.
Yeah. I mean, to be completely honest, this is not my preferred style of beaujolais or in wine in general. Like I don't like this. I don't like this much extract in my wine. But I thought, I mean, for what it is, I think this wine is good. It's just that I just don't prefer it. The wine is well-made wine, and I wanted to kind of showcase different styles and different production method and what it could do.
Don't you think though, even the Allison of 6 years ago would have loved it?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
This is a Allison circa 2019 era.
Yeah, it is.
For sure, 100%.
A little classier, but yes. Classier version of what I like.
Any other questions?
Do you like Old Beaujolais?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Do I like what? Say that one more time.
Old Beaujolais. Like, do you like aged Beaujolais, or do you just prefer like the freshness and the?
Oh no, I do like Old Beaujolais. I've had Old Beaujolais that is fucking unbelievable. Yeah.
So, what is your preferred style of Beaujolais to become Old Beaujolais? Like, is your preference on like a more carbonic style?
Yeah, so I like carbonic style.
Out of the bottle, does that like yield to like, oh, but actually, if you were going to tell me the Beaujolais is 7 years old, I would rather have a different style. And like, does that make a difference? Or do you still prefer like carbonic that got 7 years old?
Yeah, I like the carbonic that got 7 years old.
Yeah, I kind of figured, but
I had Dutrave, I think it was an 82, 81, 82, 80, I think it was 82, 82 Dutrave Fleury in 2019.
Jeez.
Yeah, and it was fucking banging. I was like, I could not believe, and that's full carbonic, like bright, poppy, high tone, everything that we talk about, with what is that, 82 to 19, like
37 years.
Yeah, it is, and it was still fresh. It still had primary fruit. It was incredible. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, let's play your favorite game. How much do you think this is on a retail shelf? How much would you be happy paying for this on a retail shelf? We called it very good with 8 to 10 year potential aging. Right? Oh, by the way, whether this matters to you or not, so there's a wine publication called Vin Hachet in France that picks out, they're like essentially like the wine enthusiasts of France. They pick out like the editor's choice wine of the year. And 2023 Julienas, this particular wine, Moulin, Favre, Julienas, is two, and Shihu was two of the wines that they picked from this producer as the editor's choice. So whether that makes give you any weight on this one or not. All right. 28, 50, 27, 30, 22, 32, 32, 30, 24. So first of all, this price is telling me that how much that you guys also, just like me, are starting to sound like old dinosaurs. Like, I remember back when Cru Beaujolais used to cost $20, you know, like that shit is long gone. Like that shit doesn't exist anymore. So this wine here is gonna be $39.99 on a retail shelf. Yeah, shocking, huh?
This is not just me sounding old. Like I'm about to go full up the hill in the snow both ways. Like $39.99. Like at this point, we could just start buying Burgundy again.
I know. Fucking Beaujolais, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
God.
I mean, especially because we've done this for 6 years. Like we know what Beaujolais tastes, how much it costs the first year we did this back in 2020, and now we're doing this in 2026. Like we're seeing this jump that has happened. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I feel like a lot of it happened like this year.
Yeah, it's really last like couple of years. It's been like skyrocketing, like exponentially.
Like 2020 to 2024, like it got more expensive, but it was like normal inflation. I feel like now it's expensive, like all of a sudden,
you know. I mean, it's really getting to a point where, you know, like for the longest time we should talk about Beaujolais. It's like it's one of the best bang for your buck that you can get. It's still flying under everybody's radar. Like Cru Beaujolais still delivers every time. It doesn't cost all that much. But like I don't know if that can say the same thing now with the Cru Beaujolais. It's just like I know. It sucks. It sucks. But yeah, it's almost $40 this well.
I guess of the problems that I've encountered in the world over the last year, this isn't really in the top of the list, but man, it still sucks.
Yep. So
Evan, was
yeah.
this you? Oh. So can you turn that? You want to put it one time? Oh, I hate.
I like this remix that you guys got going.
Is that better?
That's
Yes.
much better.
No, we can't hear anything. Is it your fault that Beaujolais got too popular?
Is it my fault? Yeah, I single-handedly just fucking popped the popularity of Beaujolais.
Beaujolais was on the precipice. If people bought
Exactly.
three more cases of wine, it was all going to fall apart.
Woo! Yeah, it's hilarious. I will say though, I have been told by at least one, if not two, wine reps that I buy in a 6-year period. I mean, obviously excluding like major retail shops like MacArthur and like, you know, big ass places. As a small retailer, like an individual retailer, I've bought more Beaujolais than any other accounts that they have in DC. So, and a lot of it is you guys.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
So it is Um's fault.
Yeah, it is me. Especially also, they're like nobody has bought like that many different kinds of Beaujolais too. They're like, you know, people will buy like Fleury and Morgon, Moulin, but like you've bought every single Cru for the last 6 years. I was like, yes.
Can we ask you, like, you know, brief tour of the rest of the box of like your thoughts on stuff? I mean, I know you want to like give it away, but what are you like super psyched about? And
so this year's box is honestly I'm super excited. There's some bangers in here, like incredible, incredible bottles of wine. Um, Here, let me see. Let me pull it up, and I can give you like a quick little review what catches my attention. So we are in Julienas right now. Okay, so Shenna is Johan Lardy, uh, really solid, classic producer. Tastes like Shenna, so Shenna's has that kind of woodsy, kind of like a thing going on, like a tastes like forest. Definitely got that going on. Classic. Lauren Parrish on the Moulin Avant. That Moulin Avant is not like the most structured thing, but it's just so delicious. Like it's just I've never had that approachable Moulin Avant in a while. Now, this is a bottle pot I'm probably most stoked about is the Flurry this year. That Flurry is like, how do I say this? We're talking about it is that, like you ever meet somebody that is so fucking handsome or so beautiful, and you're like, oh fuck, I didn't know like people made you like that or made people like that. It's like Flurry was like that kind of bottle. It's like you're tasting all these different bottles, and then some of them had little crooked teeth, some there's like the eyes were a little fucked up, like had a bad haircut, but very charming. Everything was all charming, but like there's something off. And then we came across this bottle Flurry, and it's like, oh shit. It's like, whoa, like somebody just walked in the room and it's like the energy changed, like that kind of bottle. Fucking incredible. Pauline Paso Schwubel, that's to be perfectly honest, I bought that blind. I haven't tasted it, but I bought it on the recommendation of an importer that I trust. And that's actually really good producer, but that was a special order that wasn't available in DC. So I had to special order that and get it into DC. So I bought that blind. So I couldn't give you a personal vetting, but from what I've heard, it's fantastic. This is the second one. Charles, you'd be stoked about this. The Migodard Morgon.
So did you change your mind about it?
Yeah, so we're going on the Migodard. The style completely changed. I don't know if she's going less refined, less Burgundy. I mean, still Burgundian bottle, but it was very, very good. So Migodard, that's a Burgundian bottle, Morgon, made in Burgundian style. The Rainier is going to be the most quote unquote natty of the year. Really out there, just kind of like wild and feral, delicious. Bertrand, just solid, like super well made wine. I mean, Bertrand family, they're just like legends in the area. And then JP Brun to Cote Brewery is it's like a Sean Connery of the box. It's just like the most handsome, just well made, very, very classy cuttable bottle. That's also Burgundian. So there's my preview for all the what's to come.
I was wondering about the Migodard because I found an article for other folks like years ago that was talking about female winemakers in Beaujolais. And I was like, can we get some of this stuff? And it was like, yeah, I've like never seen this stuff out there. And this is an Asian woman winemaker in Beaujolais. I was like, we should get this. And it was like, so I got some and you got some, or I gave you a bottle. I don't remember. And it was,
I tasted a 21 and I give it 21.
It's good. It's like really nice wine, but it like doesn't knock your socks off for what used to be like $34 a bottle. I'm sure now it's like $45 a bottle. And then now this is in the box. I was like, wait, did you change your mind? Is it delicious now, or did you just give up?
Yeah, I know. I was surprised. I was like, oh shit, this is really good. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. Psyched.
Anyways.
Is it that Fleury? Is it the one that's the bottle is really fucking cool?
Yeah.
The label on one of them, I think it's the Hopinot, is like super cool looking.
Yeah, it's like blue, white with the gold
yeah.
Going through. Yeah.
Cool.
That wine is gorgeous. It's just like I don't know. I don't know who the actor I will put that to. It's like an odd.
As the person who drinks the Fleury with you almost every year, this is kind of heartbreaking.
Just saying, I got you a beautiful bottle.
But who's doing a recording with you, Un? This is my question.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. We were supposed to do this last weekend when I was here, but yeah, sorry.
Jilted me. You jilted me, and now
I,
you're like, oh, the
this,
flirt is amazing. It's the best thing ever. Blah blah
well,
blah.
we haven't done it. We still have time, so I'll be back up in DC probably in like less than 2 weeks. In 2 weeks of time, so come on, look at that.
Just see. Maybe I'm busy that weekend.
Okay, sorry. Uh, cool. Any questions about any other bottles so far? Anything else you guys tasted this year? Anything that caught your attention? You were like, holy shit, this bottle is weird. This bottle is really good. What's going on here? And also out of curiosity, because like I said, every single one of you here pretty much have done Beauj box. All 6 of them in the last 6 years. Like, I don't know. What are you finding each year? Is this more of like are you still learning something new? Are you catching something new? Or is it more of like, I just love Beaujolais, so I just get it every year? Um, yeah, I guess a general feedback on the Beauj box, having done it over time for a long time.
I mean, I guess I'd say that it's impressive that there are still bottles where I'm like, huh, that's weird. Like there's still people doing weird stuff that I haven't seen before, and that's pretty cool. Beaujolais is a place of a bunch of weirdos making wine. That's pretty good for me. So I'm still enjoying it.
Cool.
I definitely feel like every year I feel like I remember slightly more.
Yeah.
Like I feel like now I know Julienas, I know Fleury, obviously. I know a bunch of them, but like you say Cherub and I'm like, that's one of the crews. And like I couldn't tell you,
Yeah.
despite having done this so many years, I still couldn't tell you like what it makes it different. But maybe this year I'll remember. And then
Yeah.
so there's like a few like that where sometimes I listen to the recordings and I'm like, oh right, I did hear that before. So I'm definitely still learning stuff. And if you decided to do a different version of Bosch next year, I also wouldn't be like, no, Sharub. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I would be game for another area too. So either way,
Yeah. For sure.
You should do Beauj box next year with like one add-on where you do like you could pick like 2 crews or 3 crews and be like, okay, it's Beauj box plus you can do like a flurry horizontal of like 3 different flurry styles.
Ah.
And like it would just be like a half case add-on. You'd be like 2 2 2, right? Like 3 crews and be like, okay, you can get 3 more flurries, 3 more morgans, and 3 more, I don't know, Cote de Bruys, and be like, these are like 3 weirdos making flurries that are completely different.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Or like maybe like flurry, even within flurry, same nudie, but like one's full carbonatic and the other one is
Yeah. I mean, that's like that might be super difficult for you to pull off. If you could do if all you could do is put in like 3 different bottles from the same crew as like a half case add-on, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely.
Heard.
I mean, Janet and EK are hanging out. We've got 3 plus extra wine at Julia's house. Like, I feel like people would be able to take down 3 bottles of the same crew in the same night. Like, I don't think this would pose a problem.
We're planning on 3 tonight, right? That's the plan.
We have 1
That's
through
the
4
plan.
to go. 'Cause today is number 4.
I don't like being underestimated, Charles.
I wasn't. I was saying that you guys could do it.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. You got us on point. Fair.
I said that you two, those 2 screens on my Hollywood Squares could take down 3 bottles of Fleury in the same night.
Absolutely.
Last time EK and I got drunk, EK showed up to my house when I was living with Jacob.
We've already talked about this tonight.
Her famous opener, as soon as we opened the door, is like, y'all want to get fucked up real quick for 5 minutes? That turned into 5 hours. And perhaps 5 bottles later, 6 bottles later.
It was at least 6
hours. That's 5 bottles for 3 people in 5 hours.
Allison was there.
Yeah.
By the way, that's an amazing cold open. That's just fantastic.
I was just thinking like, wow, this sounds really familiar. then you're like, I was there, and I'm like, I kind of remember it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I would arrive at Charles's house as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably have like flowers or something in tow, like a gift, but it would definitely be like, here's your gift. Do you want to get fucked up real quick?
I mean, come after 8:30, or else you're going to be asking my daughter. Like,
I don't know. Is your daughter cool? Can she hang?
Hang for a
she's pretty cool.
6-year-old.
She's
Yeah.
6.
She's
All right,
just-
that's
she
probably a
just
little
turned
young.
6.
She just turned 6, right? Yeah.
By the way, can I tell you guys that I'm super excited to see all of you, including Terry and David, and also Sarah, but even perhaps more than any of the people is Sarah's little hopping beach plover. I mean, I'm like, man, this is like brings me back to many years ago. This is like my life in 2021.
So Charles, you have a very distinct voice. And I didn't see, because I guess you signed on late and suddenly your voice like cut through and it was like 2020 again. It was like, oh my God.
Oh, good. I'm glad I could bring you back to the, it's funny because what a quaint time that we thought that was the worst the world could get.
Right?
Yeah.
We're like, oh man, remember when we had those halcyon days of all it was a virus taking everybody down as opposed to a bunch of fascists? Those were good days.
If only.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
Terry
I'll
and
just
David,
say-
where are you guys now?
We live in Seattle.
I was just in
Oh,
Seattle. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We moved at the end of 2021. And we've been here, I guess, over 4 years now, which seems I still feel like we're new and we just moved here. I don't even know where I am half the time, but it's like it's good.
Is your house in Seattle as immaculate as your house was in DC?
Depends on the day. But yeah, it's we actually just moved. We've actually moved 3 times since we got here. So the first time we moved into a rental, and I don't know if you know Seattle neighborhoods. We moved to a rental in Ballard, which is a great, cute, old, Scandinavian fishing village. And then we bought a house in Queen Anne, which is a very older, established, fancy pants neighborhood. We had a natural wine shop like a block and a half from us, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But last summer, this house came on the market. It has a view, it has a pool. It's in West Seattle, so it's a tiny bit more suburban, but it's still like the city itself. And we were like, oh, fuck it, let's just try it. And then we got it. And so, yeah, this is our 3rd house in 4 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and here, because it's more suburban, we don't have a natural wine store, but we do have a Total Wine 6 minutes away. And I was going to say on the whole 3 bottles thing is our wild and crazy Friday night is we'll set okay, here are the rules. We'll buy 3 bottles of wine. It could be they all need to be Italian, or they all need to be Pinot Noir from a different place, or Caps from a different place, or they all have to be under 20, or you need to get 2 that are over 30, but one that's $7. And then we give each other blind tastings to see if we can kind of figure out which wine is which and stuff. So the 3 bottles was fine for 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for people on this wine club, I feel like 1.5 bottle is like normal night. I don't know. I
Really careful when I drink wine with other people, particularly coworkers. I was at a coworker's house, and also I finally told EK that we work together.
Yeah.
We worked together the entire time, but I didn't ever tell her in 2020. But I stayed at a coworker's house in Texas, and we had wine, and at one point I paused and I was like, I'm pretty sure the only reason we're on the 2nd bottle is me, and I should probably really slow down.
I am happy to report my last I downed a whole bottle by myself was just last weekend in New York. I was eating we were at dinner at Lucali, the pizza place in Brooklyn. And
I'm actually shocked they even got in there. That place is fucking impossible to get into.
No. Not only did we get in, but we were there dining with Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Oh, they were there.
Listen. one bottle does more to me at 42 years of age than it did to me when we first started this wine club. I concede that.
Yeah.
I concede that. And it just so happened that, like, by the time Jay-Z and Beyonce left, by the way, her security detail is the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life. He absolutely deserves that pop song that she wrote about him. He's amazing looking. He should be a model. He is wasted as a security detail. But I'm like, holy shit, dude. Anyway, that aside, like, Jay-Z, as you all probably know by now, is in the Epstein files, like, in very real ways. And so, of course, I cannot keep my mouth shut because I'm a little bit drunk on both wine and cheese. And as they are leaving the restaurant and people are waving goodbye to them, I'm just like, I'm sorry you're in the Epstein file.
Did he say anything?
And they just kind of like left and made it not a thing, but like the hostess was definitely like, I want your name and your identity and you will never be allowed back here again. And I'm just like, you know what, bitch? Fine. Laundry was better. Like, this is not worth the trip out. DeFara's is better. Like, Mama's 2 is better. Like, this is overblown.
That's what I was going to ask next. It's like, is it overhyped? Is it actually that good?
It's good, but it's overhyped. It's overhyped. Yeah. It's not worth standing in line for.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's just like classic New York, like thin crust. Like, it's got a nice flop and a crisp to it, but like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not, you know.
My favorite.
Is any pizza worth standing in line for? Like,
yes.
The pizza at Laundry and DeFara's is.
See, really and I'm a fierce and proud advocate of Connecticut pizza, Worcester Street in New Haven. Yeah, I've stood in line for that since I'm 10 years old, and I won't do it again.
Okay.
What is the spot in New Haven? Pepe's.
There's two. There's Pepe's and there's Sally's. Now Pepe's has since franchised. And the franchises are definitely steps down in quality.
Got it.
But like from what I remember from the late 80s after being swim meets at Yale, and then like we'd go out for like pizza and root beer. It's not quite the same, but they still do. It's still a great thing. So
yeah.
It's the white clam pizzas there.
Oh my God. That shit broke my world. I was like, I didn't know if this was possible.
That's like, yeah. When it's that a special kind too, it's different.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the general trend these days that young kids are drinking less, and people are not drinking as much, and people are to watch out for health.
Yeah, but they're also voting for Trump, so fuck them.
Yeah, like, I mean, but it's also it's alcohol. It's like, I'm not drinking a bottle of wine, but like, let's do some ketamine. Let's go down a table together.
Also, like, let's test our drugs to make sure it doesn't have fentanyl in it before we do it. Anything that requires a fentanyl test strip is a hard no.
So it's like every time I go out and like hang out with people, it's just like these days normal people, I should say.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying, if anyone asks me from here on out what the line is at Fannie Mae, I'll be like, look, we can go out and do anything as a team. As long as it doesn't require that we test any of the things for fentanyl, I think we're okay. HR said it's fine.
I mean, it's important. I mean, there are vending machines all over DC where you can get testing strips.
I know. Like, when I realized that, I have so many friends who do it, like, who do the club drugs that you always test, because they want to not do fentanyl accidentally, and so they buy the EDM drugs and then.
Yeah. EK, they're not testing for. I mean, they're testing
to make sure it's not
so they can do fentanyl,
so they don't die. But like, no, that's my line.
Yeah,
that's fine. Okay, wait. What is of the first 3 bottles? Which one's the best? For the first 3 bottles. 3.
The third one.
Charles says number 3.
I mean, what kind of Beauj do you like? What are you in the mood for? Do you want something like bright and puppy, or do you want?
So my favorite Beauj that we ever had was that Côte de Bruy Beauj with like the wolf in the hat.
Yeah, 1000%. We bought like 6 of those.
That was from like the early days of Wine Club, and like that, I went out of my way to get like 24 bottles of that. And
Yeah.
over the years, I have consumed all of them, and I dubbed it my pizza wine.
Oh
I
man.
know. Yeah, unfortunately, that winery still, I mean, that still exists, but they've gotten way too like safe now. Like wine is so like inside the box, kind of boring now. And because they gotten bigger, like they make so much more wine now, and they're like, we don't want to do, yeah. So all of that, and it's just not the same anymore, and it got really fucking expensive.
That's lame.
But
All
yeah,
right,
that wolf wine was like everybody's favorite. Like people talk. Joe Canoe is another one. Like to say he talks about it, he's like, "Oh my god, that wine is why I joined wine club."
It was awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
So, I'll be totally honest. So we're now drinking the Village.
Yeah.
From I guess it was your number 2. I guess
That was number 2.
it's making me happier than the one tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, so we got a competition though.
So
go ahead. I'm just saying it's brighter. It's more like what I'm expecting for Beaujolais, and it's more like sunny.
Allison is double fisting.
I am.
Yes.
But they look, but you wouldn't have to know. Like I didn't have to tell you. Like you would just never know. But now that we're being truthful, here I am double fisting, and I agree. This one is the Beauj, the Village is making me happier too.
I would honestly say I think you should pop if you're trying to figure out which bottle to open right now.
Yeah.
I'll go with the second one just so you can compare it.
Okay.
Okay.
Just so because this is so dark and deep, and that is like bright and appears like such a different vibe.
Also,
this feels like movie villain wine.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I love it, but it's just like I feel like I should have just murdered a husband, and now I'm like talking to the detectives and be like, if he's dead, he had it coming, like that kind of energy.
Yeah, you speak in like riddle. You speak in riddles, and yeah.
Yeah, like I'm drinking it while I smoke a cigarette, and I'm backlit, like that kind of vibe.
You also shouldn't open bottle number 3 because I feel like it was better after a day.
Number 3, Charles?
Yeah, I thought it was better. I don't know if anyone else drank the.
Bottle 2 was also better.
This is Garnet. Yeah, this is Garnet.
The bottle that you guys are opening will also, you guys are going to drink it tonight, but that one's also better 2 days after it's open.
Oh yeah, Moon was right about that.
It's not going to last for 2 days. I'm sorry. We're going to finish it.
No, we don't.
I'm glad that we're still recording this, by the way.
Are we still recording? That's unfortunate. Because I